The house always wins. It's starting to feel that way after watching the Vegas Golden Knights steamroll through the playoffs en route to the Stanley Cup final. With only one team standing in their way, it seems almost inevitable that the first-year expansion team will achieve historic glory. And yet, don't bet against Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals just yet. Here are 10 reasons why they might buck the odds. The Russian machine. It all begins with Alex Ovechkin. He is the heartbeat of this Capitals team. As he goes, so does Washington. And 12 goals and 22 points, including 4 goals and 7 points in the conference final against Tampa Bay. He's been pretty much unstoppable in these playoffs. As Lightning coach John Cooper said, "I think he's taken years of frustration out in one playoffs." Holtby is honed in. When the playoffs began, Braden Holtby was wearing a baseball cap and backing up Philipp Grubauer. But since relieving Grubauer in Game 2 against Columbus, Holtby is 12-5 with a .924 save percentage. It's not as dominant a performance as Vegas' Marc-Andre Fleury, 12-3, .947, but after posting back-to-back shutouts in the conference final, Holtby has put together 8 straight periods without giving up a goal. Braden Holtby and head coach Barry Trotz of the Washington Capitals celebrate after defeating the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Final on May 23, 2018 in Tampa, Florida. Mike Carlson, Getty Images. Beware the bird. While Ovechkin is Washington's de facto leader, Yevgeny Kuznetsov is the one who is actually leading the offense. It was Kuznetsov and his wing-flapping goal celebration who eliminated the Penguins in the second round with an overtime goal in Game 6 and who had a team-best 10 points against the Lightning in the conference final. The 26-year-old heads into the Cup final on a 10-game point streak, with 6 goals and 15 points in that span, and is leading all scorers in the playoffs with 24 points. Team of Destiny. The Capitals might be the betting underdogs, but they also have the most to lose. And yet, there is an air of invincibility around Washington. Maybe it's because the hard work has already been done. In advancing past the two-time defending champion Penguins in the second round, the first time that Washington did either in the Ovechkin era, the Capitals exorcised their demons from the past and at the same time removed the gorilla off its back. For once, it feels like the hockey gods are finally on their side. Alex Ovechkin has been a monster in the playoffs. Mike Gurman, Getty Images. In Trotz. They trust win or lose. There is the sense that this might be Barry Trotz's last season with the Capitals. He's in the final year of a contract. But for now, he has the players' attention. Capitals are still a team that can outscore the opposition, but Trotz also has them defending better than ever. They are averaging 28.2 shots against per game, compared to Vegas' 33.7, and playing an up-tempo style predicated by taking the body. He's also pushing all the right buttons, even if it means making himself the butt of jokes like when the 52-year-old took a turn performing a hot lap around the ice on the morning of Game 7. The players laughed but were looser for it. Scoring depth. After scoring 23 goals in 7 games against the Lightning, the Capitals are averaging 3.47 goals per game in the playoffs. Ovechkin and Kuznetsov, who have combined for 23 goals, are obviously leading the way. But from TJ Oshie, 7 goals, and Lars Eller, 5, to Brett Connolly and Devante Smith-Pelly, 4 each, Washington has 9 players with 3 or more goals. Vegas has 6, but has also played 4 less games. Powerful play thanks to Fleury. Vegas' penalty kill is operating at a 82.5% success rate in the playoffs. Still, it would be wise for the Golden Knights to stay out of the penalty box. That's true when playing against any team, but especially against a Capitals team that has a 28.8% success rate on the power play. For Washington, the options are many. Ovechkin has 4 goals, Kuznetsov and defenseman John Carlson each have 3. But the main threat is Oshie, who has found a home in the high slot where he's scored 5 of his 7 goals and picked up another 4 assists. Centers of attention know that they totally missed him while he was gone. Washington went 3-1 in his absence, but getting Nicklas Backstrom back in the lineup for Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Final was a huge relief in more ways than one. First off, Backstrom is important to the offense, having scored 16 points, which included a goal and 2 assists in the last 2 games. But more importantly, his return gave the Capitals 1-2-3 punch down the middle. Kuznetsov, Backstrom and Eller. That should make it hard for Vegas to defend against. Andrei Burakovsky, left with John Carlson, came back from injury to score 2 goals in Game 7. Mike Carlson, Getty Images. Young leg shaving played 7 tough games against the Lightning, might have taken its toll on the Capitals, especially considering the Golden Knights will have had 7 days off before Game 1 of the final, but don't expect Jakub Vrana to be tired. After all, he's only 20. That's one of the differences between Washington's playoff run this year compared to in the past. The team has relied on as many as 5 rookies in the postseason, with Vrana and Chandler Stevenson combining for 4 goals and 13 points. That does not include 23-year-old Andrei Burakovsky, who, after missing most of the playoffs with an upper body injury, scored twice in Game 7, heating up at the right time. Playoffs are all about timing. You can score as many goals as you want during the regular season, but if your top players go cold in May, you're probably not going to get very far. So it's a good thing for Oshie that the playoffs are not being held in November, when he had 0 goals and was mired in a 42-game slump that saw him score twice. As the temperatures have warmed, so has the Washington winger, who has 7 goals and 15 points in the playoffs, including 11 in the month of May.